some Dramamine before I
That
go.
but it took a whole family. That woman did at the end. She was on the interview. They was questioning her stuff, and then at the end she broke down. She was in the hospital. She was saying that she don't remember nothing.
I'm terrified of water.
Yeah, she had yeah.
I've never even learned to swim.
And she was hell a baby, little girl.
Record.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, y'all, what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna work as many problems as I can. It's stuff that we have got, and I have like 20 pages, so, well, 25 pages, 24 pages. 24 pages, and I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna work as much as I can. I'll put the video, I'll put the notes out there, but don't think that this is going to replace you studying. Because me doing it is gonna be a whole lot easier than you doing it. This is just me reminding you how to do these problems, okay? So, today is an exam review. Ms. Rhonda has asked that we move the homework deadline till Tuesday. So I'll go out there. The exam has to be done by Wednesday. Now, I'm reviewing today. If you feel like today or tomorrow you want to take the test, but if you want to come back on Wednesday and do the exam after we review on Wednesday, that's fine as well. It is not a requirement to come on Wednesday, so if you take the exam before we review on Wednesday, that's totally fine as well. Now, your exam is going to be 33 multiple choice questions. So what I did is you have a spreadsheet out there of what those 33 questions are. And it tells you the directions and where you can go in the book to get them. It tells you where to go and what the questions are. And then what I did is I went through your homework and I went to section 5.2 and I pulled problems out from that section. Then I went to 5.3 and I pulled problems out from that section. So I did have some people say, how many problems are going to be like what we did in the take-home test?
That take-home test hard.
So the take-home test was on 8 and 9. So you will have one question from 8.1, one question from 8.2, one question from 8.4, two questions from 9.1, one question from 9.3, and one question from 9.4. So you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions out of the 33 from the 8 and 9. Y'all with me? So what I did is the easiest way to study for the test is to go to your homework and to go out to that final exam review homework. It does not affect your average. It is not a requirement, but if you want to do well on the exam, you need to go out there and do those homework problems, okay? So I went to the first problem in that homework review. So this is the final exam homework review. Now, everybody's number 1 is going to be, so when I click on that, and don't freak out that there's 118 questions, your final exam is only 33. So I picked 2 or 3 of each type. So I went out to this first one, and everybody's is going to be subtract the radical terms, but yours may be different numbers than mine, okay? So right here, this is going to be like number 1. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to go through, and then what I did is right here, this tells me that this is from section 5.4, like number 47. So, 5.4, and it's like number 47. So if I go back in here, I can see 5.4 and it's like number 47. So this is going to be the add and subtract radical problem. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to go through and we're going to work as many of these as we can. Some are going to be super easy, some are going to be super long. This one is going to be 3 on the square root of 175 minus 5 on the square root of 63. And I'm just going to talk and not do back and forth so I can do as many problems as I can. For the 175, we need to come over here and we need to break it down. For the 63, we need to come over here and we need to break it down. This is where we line the children up and we take them outside.
I'm sorry, can I get a calculator?
You can get whatever you want. Anybody else need a calculator? Battery is dead. See what I can find where my batteries aren't dead. Got to recharge before the beginning of the semester. There's one. And there's one. You can want a cherry right behind you. Alright, so if I don't know what goes into 175, I come off to the side and I'm going to do 175 divided by 2. That doesn't work because it's not a whole number. 175 divided by 3 doesn't work, 175 divided by 4 doesn't work, but 175 divided by 5 does. So that tells me that I'm going to do 5 and 35. 5 is a prime number, but 35 can be broken down into 5 times 7. So I have the 3 on the outside, that's the number that's playing out front, the child that's in the front, and I have the 5 times the 5 times the 7 on the inside. I have a pair of 5s, so 1 5 goes outside with the 3 that's already there and leaves a 7 inside, because he doesn't have a partner. So that gives me 15 on the square root of 7. Now I need to break down the 63. 3 times 21. If I went to my calculator and did 63 divided by 2, it doesn't work. 63 divided by 3 gives me 21. 3 is prime. 21 is 3 times 7. So I have my minus 5. And 63 breaks down to 3 times 3 times 7. I bring the 3 outside with the 5 that's already there, and my 7's in the house. So that gives me minus 15 on the square root of 7. So if I have 15 houses and I take away 15 houses, that's going to give me 0 houses. And if I do not own a house, I just say I'm broke. So your answer to that problem is just going to be 0.
So that's one that's gonna be on the test.
Just different numbers. It's going to be a problem like this. It's not going to be that exact problem, but a problem like this. Everything that I do today is going to be a problem that's going to be like this.
When you, okay. Like when you do
Is it
that,
Dan?
Oh, yeah, there's no button.
Okay, here, we'll get on. This will help.
like when you, okay, like when you did that, so like 135, and you just like go, like just try it out and see what normal.
We'll go in there evenly.
And then you just put your like 3 divided into 5 by 7, and then that'll give you.
And you break it down until you get prime numbers, or
Okay.
numbers that cannot be broken down into anything else.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, and we're going to do more of these. Because we have 118 questions, I have multiples of each one. All right. For this next one, this one is like number 2 in that homework review. It says express the number in decimal notation. You have 9.14 times 10 to the negative 1. Remember that if your exponent is negative, it tells you that how many jumps you're going to make. So we are going to make 1 jump, and which way are we going to jump?
To the left.
To the left, because we need less than $1. So we're going to take and we're going to jump it to the left. So my answer is going to be 0.914. We good?
Yeah.
If I was having a blonde moment and didn't know what to do, I can say 9.14 times 10 to the negative 1, and it's going to give it to me, but that will not always work, because sometimes it'll give you that E. This time it did work. Yay? All right.
So
This-
the only difference is if it's positive when you were.
If it's positive, it goes to the right, yes. All right. For this one, it says determine the volume. This one should be very fresh in your mind. This one is the volume. So we go to our formula sheet, and we want to do the volume. Now, it says surface area, But y'all, this is 9.4.13. So if I come back over here, 9.4, number 13, do you see that I did not ask you for the surface area?
No.
I only asked you for the volume.
Good.
So,
The surface area is what confused me.
Yeah.
in here, you do not need to know the surface area, you just need to know the volume. So do not worry about surface area, you are just gonna do the volume part of this problem. So, we're gonna go to our formula sheet. Let me pull that up real quick, handout study sheet. I'm gonna go to my formula sheet. And on my formula sheet, I am doing the volume,
It's 1/3.
1/3 times pi times r squared times h. So this is the formula that I need to use, and you will be given that formula sheet when you take your test. So we're gonna do v equals 1/3 times pi times r squared times h. It tells us right here to use the pi key. Sometimes it'll say use the pi key, sometimes it'll say use 3.14. So we're gonna do 1/3 times pi. What is my radius?
8. 6.
My radius is gonna be 6 because that is halfway through the circle. What is my height?
8.
My height is going to be 8. So I go to my calculator. Oops, not that button. I go to my calculator and it's gonna be 1/3 times the pi button times 6 squared times 8. I need to put the square on the 6. So there's gonna be my answer. You don't really need to worry about units right now because all your final exam is multiple choice.
How many questions?
Your final exam is 33 multiple choice questions. So in the homework, you would have to round it and all that mess, but on your final exam, all the answers would be rounded to the same number and they all would have the same units on. We good?
That's how this test that we just
Is-
did was.
Yeah, they're all rounded and they're all multiple choice. All right, this next one, or actually the next two, so this is gonna be number 4 and number 5. It says perform the indicated operations. When you do these, you just have to make sure that you wrap up the top and wrap up the bottom. So the top and the bottom both have to be wrapped up in your calculator. So when I type in this number 4, it is going to be parentheses 6.9 times 10 to the -5th, close it, divided by parentheses 3 times 10 to the -2nd. If you do not do those parentheses, you are going to get it wrong, period. This one says express your answer in decimal notation. It gave it to me in decimal notation. What if it would have said, what's your answer in scientific notation? What would the answer be in scientific notation? Something point something times 10 to the something. What is that in scientific notation? Where does the decimal have to be in order to be in scientific notation?
211.
Okay, so what would my number be? 2.3 times 10 to the, how many jumps did I make?
3.
3 jumps, and is it positive or negative?
Negative.
It is negative, and the reason that it's negative is because you have less than $1. Remember, if it's less than $1, it's negative. This number right here was less than $1. That's why it's negative. So according to whether all the answers are in decimal notation or all the answers are in scientific notation, you need to be able to transfer them back and forth. Let's do another one of those. Do what?
That's 6.9.
6.9 times 10 to the -5th in parentheses divided by parentheses 3 times 10 to the negative second. The calculator gave me decimal notation, so if the problem says, and let's see, this is 5.6, number 69. So if I come right here, 5.6, number 69, it doesn't say how we're gonna give it. If it wants it in decimal or scientific, so you need to know how to go both ways. Let's try another one.
So when it's negative, you go on to the left.
You can't really deal with left and right. You have to say, is it more than $1 or less than $1? If it's more than $1, your exponent's going to be positive. If it's less than $1, your exponent's going to be negative. So because that 0.0023 is less than $1, that is why your exponent is negative.
Okay, so you moved it to,
I moved it 3 times, which is why that's a 3.
okay.
And because this number was less than $1, that's why that's negative.
This
So that's the answer, 2.3 times.
If the answer said in decimal notation, this would be the answer. If the answer said give it to me in scientific notation, that would be the answer.
So negative 10, negative 3.
Your answer is either 0.0023 or your answer is 2.3 times 10 to the negative third.
Okay.
Those are the two answers according to, so either all the answers are going to be in decimal or all the answers are going to be in scientific. All right, let's look at another one. It says same thing, perform the indicated operation. So when you type it into the calculator, you have to put parentheses around the top and around the bottom. So it's going to be parentheses 8 times 10 to the 7th. And then close your parentheses. Divided by, open your parentheses, 4 times 10 to the 6th. Close your parentheses. Yes.
How you put those arrows, like when you do your arrows?
Your to the button, your exponential button is right above the division button.
It won't do my little square.
Yours is, okay, yours looks like this. It's the same thing as mine. I just have mine in a different mode. Second enter. So when you do it, it looks like this. You'll do 8 times 10 to the,
Yeah, that's how
and then you do 7, and remember you have to jump off the airplane and then do your parentheses. Divided by parentheses, 4 times 10 to the 6th, jump off the airplane and put your parentheses. We're going to get the same exact answer.
So put the exponent inside the parentheses.
Correct.
Okay.
Because when you, it's going to be like this.
Okay.
Yes, the exponent has to go inside the parentheses. Are we good?
Perform indicated operation. Okay.
Now, if you look, this says 5.6, number 71. So you can go back to that spreadsheet and see what the directions are going to say on that spreadsheet. Now, this is the answer if they want it in decimal notation. What if they want it in scientific notation? What is it going to be in scientific notation?
0.2, no wait.
2.0 times 10 to the, how many jumps did you make? 1, and is it positive or negative and why? Positive because this was more than $1. $20 is more than $1, which is why it's positive.
That's just a 1, right?
Just a plain old 1. Yes. I promise it's going to come back. We're going to do more than one of each one of these.
So remind me, I can't remember why we moved the decimal only one place.
Okay, when you're doing scientific, and I'm going to do a brief little review. If you're doing scientific notation, if I give you 256000 and I tell you to write it in scientific notation, your decimal is here.
Right.
And in scientific notation, there can only be one number that's not a 0 in front of the decimal. So
Okay.
it's going to be 2.56 times 10. and then you count the number of jumps. So in this problem, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps. And because this, is it more or less than $1?
It's more.
It's more than $1, so that's gonna be a positive exponent. Now, if I have 0.00034, and I tell you to write that in scientific notation, I can only have one number in front of my decimal,
So it'd be 3.4.
so it would be 3.4 times 10. You moved 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers, and because this is less than $1,
Right.
that's gonna be a negative.
Can we write that down?
You can't really think about the right and the left, because that's gonna get you in trouble later on.
So if the zeros in front, it's gonna be negative.
Correct, because it's less than $1. All right, now we're gonna look at the next 5 problems. So on the homework exam review, that was problems 1 through 5. Your numbers are gonna be different. So now we're gonna look at problems 6 through 10. Because we did a lot of stuff, y'all, in 9 weeks.
What, those were 5 and
This was number 4 and 5.
4?
4 and 5. And everything that I'm doing, I'm gonna post on my math lab, and I'm gonna post the video, so that you can go back and look at it.
Okay.
All right, here's a word problem. Okay? This is gonna be number 6 on that review. It says the distance from a planet to its moon is 245,000 miles. If the spacecraft travels at a speed of 20,000 miles per hour, how many hours would the spacecraft need? Use this formula. So it's telling me to use the formula distance equals rate times time. So we have to figure out where to put what. This says the distance is 245,000 miles. So that means my distance is going to be 245,000 miles. It travels at a speed of 20,000 miles. So is my speed going to be the rate or the time? The rate is going to be 20,000, because then it says how many hours. So my hours is going to be my time.
You want to divide?
And then we're going to divide both sides by 20,000. So in my calculator, it's the top number divided by the bottom number. There's my answer. So they will give you the formula, they will give you the problems, you have to plug in and you have to solve.
That's 20,000.
20,000, yes. 245,000 divided by 20,000. You're fine. All right. Next, we are doing number 7. Number 7 talks about percent increase or percent decrease. Do we remember how to do percent increase or percent decrease? I take that as a no. If the problem says percent increase or percent decrease, it says in a vacuum cleaner dealership sold 420 units in 2011. In 2012, it sold 389. I wanted to know the percent increase or the percent decrease. So anytime a problem says percent increase or percent decrease, you are going to subtract over original equals percent over 100. So you just need to remember that on your test, you are going to have a problem that says find the percent increase or find the percent decrease. And you're going to have to memorize percent increase or decrease means this. And I'm going to put memorize. Subtract over original equals percent over 100. So my subtract means how much did it go up or how much did it go down? So I started out with 420, I ended up with 389. So when I subtract those two, get out my calculator. So if I go to my calculator and I do 420 minus 389, that's going to give me 31. So my subtract is going to be 31. The original is the one that happened first. And 420 is the one that happened in 2011, which happened before 2012. So 420 is going to be your original. And because we are finding the percent is going to be my x, and percent is always over 100. So now we are going to cross multiply. So we're going to multiply the 31 times the 100 and divide it by the 420. I didn't do that right. 31 times 100 divided by 420. There is my answer. Now, it says, is it an increase or is it a decrease? Did they go up or did they go down? They went down. You started at 420 and you ended up at 33. Come on in, boo-boo.
Sorry.
No, you're fine, you're fine. What's your name?
Chelsea.
Chelsea, yeah, just come sit wherever you want to. It's going to be on this screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so just sit where you can see. I've invited my online people to come for the review. 420 to 389, so the price went down. So because the price went down, it is a decrease. And it decreased by 7.38%. Had the price gone up, we would have done the same exact thing.
You said 7.38.
Yeah, but remember your final exam is multiple choice. So it's all going to be, it's either going to say 7.38 or it's going to say 7.4. They're all going to be rounded to the same thing.
Is it
We
going
are-
to exact?
It probably won't ask the decrease or the increase, but if it does, I want you to understand why.
But you already know it went down because 420 was original.
420 was the original,
389.
right.
Yeah.
So if
you
like
know
a
it
shirt
would
was
be
on
decreased.
sale
Yeah.
and went from $50 to $20, that would be a decrease.
Right.
But you know I own a business, so if I bought something for $20 and I marked it up to $35, that would be an increase.
Right,
But I still would subtract over original percent over 100.
right.
Yeah. So it's just an increase or a decrease as to if it went up or if it went down. We good? All right, so that was number 7. What we're doing is we are working the problems on the final exam review, Chelsea. We're going over those final exam review problems and just doing as many as we can do, just to kind of go over everything that we've kind of done.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so number 8 on the final exam review. We have a graph, and let me make it bigger so we can kind of see it. I know like Rachel likes to see things big, right Rachel?
They look blurry to me, what you.
Once you make it bigger. The accompanying graph shows the number of taxpayers in millions filing their taxes electronically from 2004 to 2009. The number of taxpayers in millions filing their taxes can be approximated by the expression 5x plus 55, where x is the number of years since 2004. For example, the year 2005 would be x equal 1. Assuming the trend continues, what would be 2013? So they're saying do not use 2004. They're saying let that be 0. And then 2005 would be 1 because that's 1 year later. So what would 2008 be?
74.
X equal what?
X equals
4.
Because this would be 2, this would be 3, so this would be 4. You with me?
Yeah.
And this would be 5. So we are looking at the year 2013. So we've got to get to 2013, which means we got to do 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. Well, if 2009 is x equal 5, then this one's going to be 6, this one's going to be 7,
So it'd
this
be
one's going to
9.
8, this one's going to be 9. Y'all with me? Now, what are we gonna plug that x equal 9 into? The expression
Of 5.
5.6x plus 55, and we just figured out that x is gonna be 9. So we're gonna do 5.6 times 9 plus 55.